Okay, welcome everyone to Landian's AMA for today. We are live on YouTube and Twitch, so thank you so much for joining us, guys. Also, the video will be uploaded to YouTube, so you can enjoy it after we're finished. My name is Becca. I'm going to be the host for today, and we also have Landian's CEO, Austin, with us today. Would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hey everybody, how's it going? Austin Jaworski here, Landian CEO. Happy to be here and answer any questions you have.
Okay, awesome. So guys, remember that we're going to have an AMA every other Thursday, so make sure that you guys are always staying tuned. And if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave them in our Discord and Telegram groups, okay? So today we want to share some important metaverse news with you guys. So first of all, we're going to be talking about a new music video that we're going to be releasing tomorrow. For those of you that enjoyed the Natty Ash video, we know that you guys are going to really love this. And then we're going to also be sharing some information about a new meta-human we're going to be releasing. And at the end, we have a surprise for you guys. So first of all, we just want to share some information about what Landian is for those of you that are new with us. So Austin, what would you like to share with everyone?
So Landian is a metaverse unlike any metaverse that's ever existed. Traditionally, what people are used to are on the decentralized portions, things like Decentraland and Sandbox, which traditionally are kind of bound by the limitations of the blockchains that they rest on, which are Ethereum and the interplanetary file system as a whole. And then the other instances which are more commercial, right? This is Meta. These are the new instances that are going to come out through some of the big companies out in Silicon Valley. Landian is being developed in Unreal Engine 5, so the graphics are very fast, blazing, if you will, with some new upgrades throughout that entire system. We are 10,000 times bigger than Decentraland in terms of overall space. So Landian is 43 billion square meters. It's about 10% the size of the moon, to put that in perspective. It's broken into 6 districts, as we know. Those districts have 4 tiers apiece. Those tiers grow and expand as the community expands and grows them. So the community has to build out one area in order for the next area to open up, and so on and so forth. So the entire circular economy of Landian is based on getting a lot of people to engage within the space. So it's not really a game, for kids. It's more something where people can engage in e-commerce, they can do education, they can have training seminars, they can use it for meeting spaces. The sky's the limit in terms of what the capabilities are. Because of the way that everything has been programmed, you can use standard tools that are out there in the marketplace. We have our own SDK builder built into the platform itself. So if you want to go in and you have no experience whatsoever, you'll be able to build a house, an apartment building, whatever it may be that you're looking for. If that's not your cup of tea and you want to design something in Blender or SketchUp or AutoCAD or Unreal or any of the engines that are out there, we're reverse compatible with pretty much everything that's on the marketplace right now. So within that regard, build whatever you want, put it where it needs to go within each particular district. And then beyond that, if you don't want to do it and you don't have the capability to do it, we also have a marketplace that's integrated into Landian that gives you the opportunity to take land that you've purchased and put out an open bid into the market saying, I'd like to build a shopping mall or a stadium or a concert venue, and anyone within the community can submit a bid to you.
So as you guys have heard, there are many options and opportunities for you guys in the metaverse at Landian. So I think that's something so important to know, because many people, like Austin said, think that the metaverse is only to escape reality and it's only for gaming, but there are so many more options. So that's super cool. All right, so one important thing that we want to announce to you guys is that tomorrow we have a new music video coming out. So for those of you that loved the Natty Ash video that we released last month, this is going to be something super exciting for you guys. The music is super catchy and there's a lot of cool technology in that. So Austin, tell us a little bit about what this is going to look like, what people can expect tomorrow.
Sure, absolutely. So the artist is Dominique Maharaj. She's a famous Colombian artist here. She's from North America. She's nominated for the Grammys last year. She's on Latin Billboard. There's a lot of exposure that we're coming up for with a release event tomorrow. It's going to be covered by Univision and all of the stations here in Colombia. Colombia and a bunch through social media and influencers. Probably about 50 to 100 million influencers are going to be, influencer networks are going to be looking at this. The video was very interesting through the dev studio to watch the entire thing being made from start to finish. I took a liking to the entire process. This happened on the new upgrade to Unreal 5. So we were able to do some really interesting things with this video that weren't possible in the past. As well as about a week ago, Unreal also released a new integration for meshes, and to the technically challenged, what that basically means is the thing that wraps around the object that we make inside the space. That allowed us to get a superior quality graphics, and we're very, very pleased with the outcome. So ultimately, we'd like to use this as a showcase for people in the future to recognize that making things like this, whether it be a music video or a training video or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, we can make it once. All of those avatars live on forever at the age that they are currently for the rest of their digital lives. And it gives us the ability to do some really interesting things. So it was really hands-on. We got to bring the entire team in. We scanned them physically. We made clothes for them in the metaverse and then put it on their bodies. So it was a lot of fun putting this together. And the dev team did a fantastic job with it. And we're super pleased. And I think that everybody's going to really see the next level of quality in the graphics as well as the streaming capabilities that we're going to have with the next generation.
Wow, guys. So that's super, super awesome. So make sure that you guys are part of our Discord and Telegram group so that you guys can be the first ones to see this as it launches tomorrow. It's going to be super, super cool. So we want to just take some time to, first of all, talk about Laura. Laura is a metahuman that we're going to be releasing. She's going to be announcing things on social media, and you're going to be seeing a lot of her. So Austin, tell us a little bit about who Laura is, what we can expect from her.
Yeah, so Laura is, she's not quite an assistant, she's not quite a virtual customer service rep. She's a really cool avatar to hang out with and learn some knowledge from. She's been developed by the entire team from scratch, so she doesn't exist in the real world. Everything from facial recognition all the way down to the way that she speaks has been programmed specifically for specific reasons. And she's just going to be around. So she'll be in social media, she'll be answering questions, and she's going to be one of the faces of Landian, one of the many faces of Landian that can help us figure things out. And if you need help with anything, or if you want to learn about events that happened in the past, she has a catalog database and can answer pretty much anything for you.
That's pretty awesome. Really cool. All right, guys, so we want to just take some time to say hello to some of you that are here watching us live. We want to say hi to Josh OWTV. Hello, Josh. Thank you for joining us. Also, proud to be an American. Thank you so much for joining us. Majer Lee, we want to thank you so much for being here. Mamad Sheriff, and also Nightlife Entrepreneurs. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We're super excited to have you with us. Also, guys, we want someone very special from Landian wants to say hello to you guys. He's not here with us today, but he has a video that he wants to show. His name is Miguel. He is our Chief International Officer. So we want him to just say hi to you guys.
Hey everyone, how are you? Mickey Crypto here, Miguel Valenzuela. I'm the Chief International Officer at Landian. Right now I'm here at the corporate offices in Medellin, Colombia, but I'm traveling to Cancun, so I'm in Cancun at this moment while you're watching this AMA. Just want to say that there's so many amazing things happening for Landian. At the moment I'm in Cancun opening a new office. We're expanding the development capabilities so we can continue to build this amazing metaverse that you are all eager and waiting for. We're approaching very special times in Landian, so thank you so much for your support, and we're very proud of the support that we always get from you back. Thank you.
Okay, guys, we're back. So we want to move on to some questions that Austin is going to answer for us. So our first question is, what can I build in a 10 by 10 plot?
So 10 by 10 plot, 100 square meters, give or take. It's roughly 1,000 square feet in the US system, standard system. The amount of things that you can build in any space in Landian is dictated by a couple of parameters that we've programmed into the metrics. So the general way to think about it is if you have a square, you're allowed to build within about 70% of that square, because we need to leave about 30% of that space available for you to get around things if you need to, or to have throughways in whichever area it is. Now, 10 by 10 individually, although we know a lot of people are going to be building on plots like that, we do foresee that a lot of people are going to be adjoining them, 10 by 20s, 20 by 20s, 40 by 40s, 100 by 100. All of those sizes have the same boundaries related to them. And the best way to describe this is within that ratio, it's volumetric. So as opposed to thinking about it on a two-dimensional plane, think about it in a three-dimensional space. So if 70% of that space is built out at, say, 2 levels, you can take it right to the very edge of that. However, if you want to build 10 or 15 or 20 levels up, then that shrinks the area on the foundation footprint and raises the area in the vertical on the z-axis, right? So it gives you more space to build that way. But within a 10 by 10, most studio apartments are, say, 700 or 800 square feet. So that's about the size. You could do a studio, you could do an e-commerce shop, you could do a merchant stand, you could do an information center, you could do a parking garage. There's a ton of different things that you could build within that space. You could even just plant a tree there. It's entirely up to you. But I don't think there are many boundaries in regards to what you couldn't do in that space that you couldn't do in real life.
Okay, really cool, awesome. That was my next question, is what are people not going to be able to build in the metaverse?
So we're encouraging people to be as creative and imaginative as possible. We don't want to be bound by the restrictions of real life. So if you want to build a building that's very thin and very big, or hangs over, or does things that would otherwise be impossible in the real world, we want you to do that. We want people to create things in the metaverse that they can't create in real life. There are limitations. Those limitations are bound by the districts and the rules within those districts, and then general building parameters associated with that. So we already covered the volumetric parameters. That's more on the building side. Within the districts, you won't want to put an educational center inside the fashion district and entertainment district, so on and so forth. So there are restrictions within that. And then also we have to stay within the boundaries of the law. So we don't want anybody putting something up that you wouldn't be able to put anywhere else on the internet as a whole. That is dictated by the DAO of each particular district, and there is enforcement through the DAO associated with that as well.
Okay, perfect. And what does someone need to build their idea on a plot?
So going back to what we discussed previously in regards to the SDK toolbox, we have a in-house toolbox where you're going to be able to create anything that you want within regular parameters. So 4 walls, a roof, doors, windows, staircases, any of that's pretty easy. It's literally just a drag and drop system. That system stays within the parameters that we discussed. So if you try and build something too tall, it will put up a red box and say, no, you can't do that. You have to change your dimensions in this particular way or that particular way. And outside of that, it's really up to you. If you want to get quite professional with it and you want to hire someone to go out and build you a really elaborate space, you're welcome to. That can happen within the marketplace. If there are designers out there, and I know that there's a lot of really talented designers that we have in the community right now that want to do something in SketchUp or AutoCAD or want to recreate something that exists in the real world, you can do that. There's a lot of new software out there, and we actually have a lot of cool toys here that we play with where we can actually scan 3D spaces, and there's some apps that exist for that in the App Store and the Play Store that allow you to take existing spaces that you have. So if you want to recreate your own house, you would be able to use those, create basically an object file, and that file would go into the space and you'd have a recreation of it. You don't necessarily need to be a programmer or a designer in order to do any of these things. We're trying to make it as easy as possible.
Oh, that's really awesome, really awesome. And so what characteristics does an idea need to have in order for Landian to approve the building process?
There's not many things that we're going to disapprove, and a lot of those are built into the programmatic ends on the front. So as you're building, obviously, if you get beyond those boundary lines or beyond those volumetric lines, it simply won't allow you to do that. Or if you try and drop an object in that doesn't fit those parameters, you can't drop it in, and it'll tell you the reasons why, and you need to make some adjustments and put them through. If you do put something up that again breaches the bylaws of that particular district or what have you, it will go into review, the community will vote on it, and adjustments will need to be made if it's deemed necessary.
Okay, perfect. And who is going to be building in Landian?
Everyone.
Everyone. Did you guys get that?
As many people as possible. Right now, through contracts that we already have in place, we're anticipating over 500,000 builders from day one, which is very exciting. These are not users, these are builders. These are people that are going to be building inside the space. I'd say the bulk of that is going to be used for education and e-commerce. And I think that this is very important for the community to understand. Right now, in terms of the way that everything is moving in the metaverse and the way that the public is perceiving it, there was an article that was released yesterday by McKinsey. The metaverse by 2030 is going to be a $5 trillion industry worldwide. It's pretty substantial considering there's only about $350 trillion in circulation of all currencies in the world, so that's a lot of money. This is an interesting metric though. Of that 5 trillion, it's estimated that 2.6 trillion of that is solely going to be for e-commerce. A lot of people that are excited about the things that have come before in gaming, for example, that's only 120 billion, right? Of that number. It's such a small percentage, and it's so focused by the public perception right now. Everyone says, oh, gaming this and gaming that in the metaverse. And although we're excited for people to build games, we're more excited for people to build businesses, make real money, and have the ability to enter into the next phase of Web3.
Awesome. Wow, guys. So I know you also mentioned that there really aren't many limitations as to what you can build. But is there anything that people should know about that?
No, I mean, again, try and use your best judgment. If you can, don't put up offensive looking buildings, things of that nature. Use common sense, as a general rule. But outside of that, no, we again are encouraging people to be as creative as they can.
Okay, awesome, guys. Well, we are officially now going to open our question space. So the first 3 people to ask questions in our Discord or Telegram groups are going to win the prize. So go, ask your questions, and we're going to definitely answer them. So let's see what we get here. So Clint says hi and asks, will there be age-limited buildings or services of whatever type?
So in regards to what we would call KYC, right, that would be restricted in very specific instances, and that is at the discretion of the owner of those spaces. For example, right now in places like Decentraland, there are adult districts, there are gaming districts. In order to enter into those spaces, you have to verify your age and go into those. We are working with a lot of gaming companies and a lot of companies in those particular industries. The legal responsibility is on them to make sure that whoever goes into that space must be either of an appropriate age or from an appropriate place or whatever it may be. That is not up to us. It's up to us to provide them with the land because it's a decentralized platform. We do our best to restrict people from point A to point B, but once you actually enter in that space, you're entering into someone's business. Right? So that would be the equivalent of me saying to me, hey, how are you going to restrict somebody from going to this website?
Right. Okay, awesome. Then we have another question here from Josh OWTV. He says, when will the rules, guidelines for each district be available?
So those have already been drafted. We're doing surveys right now amongst members of the community as well as other people to see the restrictions, the maximum amount of restrictions, the minimum amount of restrictions. We don't want to be too bossy with people at all. This is, again, a decentralized platform, so we want to make sure that we're not trying to implement any rules, if you will. But again, we have to use common sense with certain things, and we want to make sure that the content that gets generated in each particular district is relevant for that district and drives value for everyone within that space.
Okay, perfect. And then we have Clint asking again here, can you limit who can come onto your land and how does that work?
Yes. So this is an interesting thing that we're developing that was actually conceptualized from the very beginning. If you want to have a private space that is just yours, then you can make it just for you. If you'd like to grant admission to people, that can either be done through a ticketing system, say it's a live event. You can't pass from point A to point B unless you have the ticket for that. Or if you just want your friends or people of similar interest to be able to enter into those spaces, you grant them access directly to their avatar, which has a link back to their NFT, which allows the blockchain to validate that that person is allowed to go into that space.
Okay, perfect, excellent. It looks like for the moment we don't have any other questions, but Clint and Josh, you guys are going to have a very special wallpaper from Landian. So we're going to be sending you all the information. And also for those of you who watch the video on YouTube, once it's uploaded, you guys can also access a wallpaper for your phones as well. Okay, guys. Oh, we have one more question. From Marco. We have a question. When are you going to sell land?
So right now, as you guys know, we started the swap yesterday. That is going along really, really well. We are on schedule right now for July to start tier 1 land sales within that space. So everybody understands the concept of how that's going to work. The entire tier 1 in every single district is going to be made available in an interface on the website. It will include all of the terrestrial metrics that we have in. So I don't know if a lot of you know this, but there are rivers in Landian, there are mountains in Landian. There's a lot of very interesting things that happen within that space. You'll be able to see every single available plot, and you'll be able to basically click on which one or which ones you would like to purchase. And from that moment, it basically designates that those are yours, you pay for them, and you're off to the races, that's yours.
Okay, perfect. And just a couple more questions here,
Sure.
just before we close. For example, if I need 1,000 Landian tokens to buy, to build on the land, how can I get that?
So right now you can go straight to the website. As of yesterday, you can exchange a variety of different currencies directly for the Landian. Once you have the Landian, obviously you can use that to build to purchase your piece of land in July. We are working directly with about 4 different payment service providers right now to be able to offer credit card transactions as well, which is very exciting. That process is very arduous and takes a bit of time because of the regulations associated with crypto. Although we've passed diligence with all of those places right now, we're in the middle of choosing which one we're going to use and integrate into the website for the easiest customer experience.
All right, perfect. And people won't be able to do this until the launching, correct? They won't be able to sell it until the launching.
That's correct.
Perfect. All right, and what equipment do I need to buy land?
A computer. Or a mobile device, yes.
Okay, perfect. And what equipment is needed in order to create your own avatar and walk around the lands?
So right now we have baseline avatars that you can customize. You'll be able to come in, choose male, female, different ethnicities, different hairstyles. If you want to get a tattoo or a piercing or different clothing, you'll be able to experience all of those things as well. If you want to do customization to your avatar, we are giving people the capability of uploading their own files for that. So if you'd like to do a recreation of yourself, you're welcome to. We use MetaHuman and a lot of other influences, fluidity, and some other things that allow us to create really realistic profiles, as well as some scanning hardware and things of that nature. It really generally depends on how customizable you'd like that to be. And also keep in mind, your avatar doesn't necessarily need to be a representation of a human being if you don't want it to be. If you'd like to be an alien or something of that nature, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, and will brands be protected, or anyone can sell Big Macs?
Or anyone can sell Big Macs. That's a fantastic question, and we have dealt with probably the best lawyers in North and South America around the answer to that. The quick answer is there is no protection for brands or copyrights as they exist right now in the metaverse because it's decentralized. We don't want people standing up places like that and representing that they are a particular brand. This has happened in a couple of other places and a couple of other metaverses, and fortunately or unfortunately, there is no direct enforcement that exists right now. So we don't encourage people to do that. We encourage people, if they have their own brands, to be able to come in and represent that as their own. But as of right now, there is no law in the world that exists, to my knowledge, to date, that restricts against that.
Okay, perfect. And Mammoth Sheriff asks, so if I have an NFT I can use to have access to the Landian?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. Well, that is all for today. So remember that you guys can stay tuned, and we're going to be uploading the video on YouTube. If you comment on the video on YouTube, you can also have access to a wallpaper for your phone. So make sure that you guys do that. Austin, is there anything else you would like to share with everyone before we
No, that's it. Just thank you guys so much for the continued support. We're really getting ready for a fantastic product. Pretty soon we'll be able to walk you guys through the space. I think you're really going to like it. We're very excited for the land sales coming up next month, and just thank you guys so much for your continued support. We really appreciate it.
Okay, and don't forget to read the blog that's coming out today as well. We'll also have a blog next week, because remember that our AMAs are only going to be once every other week. And guys, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.